Hello, everyone. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to Don't Just Think It, Do Yoga. And today's topic is spiritual bypassing. This is something that unfortunately becomes frequent by a lot of people because, well, it's easier to avoid actually really living sometimes um, than participating in life. So, it's true. So, spiritual bypass occurs when people use their spiritual practice as a way to avoid dealing with and taking responsibility for their feelings. Anything that is used to avoid taking responsibility for feelings or feeling itself becomes an addiction. So, spiritual practices can be used just like alcohol, drugs, food, social media, watching TV, work, gambling, spending, anger, withdrawal to avoid life. All of those things are different kinds of addictions. So the question is, are you replacing feeling with spiritual practices unnecessarily? So when a difficult or painful feeling comes up, immediately do you go into meditation into hopes of blissing out and getting rid of your unwanted feelings? Or distracting when you are uncomfortable to avoid feeling your feelings. This is something, I mean, I'm not saying that you do this, I'm just saying what spiritual bypassing is. I'm asking you, like, I think what happens is I sometimes read these comments in Reddit about in the meditation section or something, and in meditation, I know somebody has said, oh, well, I meditate 3 hours a day, or I meditate 5 hours a day, or one, it's not a competition. Two, you do what's right for you. But generally speaking, if you're a human being on the planet, unless you are really wanting to overcome, you're on this kind of like deep spiritual path that you want to be on for the rest of your life and become a monk or something, I really don't think it's necessary for you to meditate. I don't want to see. I don't want to be like sounding like I'm telling people what to do. But the thing is that sometimes people just meditate because they're avoiding actually living. So, and also, meditation is mostly concentration practices. So, are you spending time sitting quietly with your eyes closed and avoiding actually interacting with human beings, interacting with animals, interacting with people? I mean that's the same as human beings, but I mean, staying in your home and just sitting on a fucking pillow. It's not real life. So, yeah. So I think staying in tune, though, with the ineffable through prayer or meditation, to actually make these practices through yoga, through pranayama, through asana and pranayama and mantra and all these things. I mean, maybe if you're doing, a lot of all the different variety of things and it takes you 3 hours a day, fine. But if you're just sitting like and just doing one thing without actually, living your life at other times, then you're probably spiritual bypassing. I mean, I think, I don't think, look, having a discipline and a practice is different than being addicted to an avoidant behavior, basically. So, um, you can, I think the other thing is, I think there's like this kind of pursuit of having a spiritual experience when we meditate. And yes, that is a beautiful, wonderful sensation when it happens, but that's not really the goal of meditation. At least I don't think so in the 3D reality. Anyway, I want to hear your comments and what you have to say about all these things, but I'm going to continue and talk about spiritual bypassing in a minute. But really, comment, have a conversation with me. Let's open up this whole, have a conversation with each other in the comments and be nice. Like, you don't have to be like a toad. And although toads are lovely little animals, yeah. So let's continue. So spiritual practices include things like yoga, postures, aka asanas, and breathwork, aka pranayama. They can help you physiologically and on the mental levels, but avoiding your feelings by replacing feelings with meditation or whatever else, that is avoidance and or repression. So, avoiding what is and feelings about what is will only resurface later so that, you just because if you don't deal with them in the now, they're going to come back. And or they might even show, or even if you repress them, they might show up in like really weird ways in relationships or other behaviors. So life includes all the emotions, all the feelings, feel the feels. I mean, we don't want to stay trapped in them either. I mean, I think that's the whole point of living a yogic life. It's not about becoming a person who is spiritual bypassing and just meditating nonstop or doing yoga nonstop. It's not about avoiding, it's about finding the balance and regulating your nervous system and helping you to live a better, fuller life. The big truth, which we all know but all don't want to think about, is that word impermanence. So impermanence can be incredibly painful because people don't like change, but that is what your emotions and feelings are. They pass. That is what happens. People, places, things, they're not permanent. You're not permanent. Life is impermanent. So, not your consciousness, not your spiritual life is not impermanent, but that part of it is like we're not trying to be dead already and be in the consciousness all the time. So, what's the point of being on earth if you're not going to actually live a life on it? So, trying to trying to transcend the experience of life on earth essentially means that you aren't truly living. So, your feelings are meant to be felt. It doesn't mean that you don't need to linger in them forever. There are ways to disrupt negative spirals and self criticism, to confront your feelings, to experience everything. Set boundaries, value both your animal and spiritual nature. Remember, our root chakra is really like from the earth and our animal nature. And then in the heart, that's where our spiritual nature and our animal nature meet. So experience everything. Recognize that fear and ego serve a purpose and can help you intuit your next actions. So I also, at the same time, want to say that spiritual practices are as important to your well being as food and water. But the thing is, too, is that you're not going to be drinking water 24/7. So you're not going to be meditating 24/7. You're not going to be eating 24/7. Or if you are, then you have an addictive behavior. So I'm not arguing for you to dismiss your spiritual practices. In fact, I truly believe that they are as important to your well being as food and water, the base essentials of life. But we can even drown by drinking too much water. It's rare, but possible. You get the point. Balance. Namaste. Subscribe. Hit the like button if you like this.